I think that works with the height. All right. Sorry. It's all right, it's all right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Emma Wicker, and I had the pleasure of researching a topic of my choice this year. The undertones of this subject are something close to my heart. However, I wanted to connect these understandings to something larger than myself and form a nuanced perspective on how they inspire the modern world today. Beauty standards inform a number of our decisions, such as the clothes we wear, the way we carry ourselves, and I argue they even motivate the cars we drive. Prior research shows that creators of a work often design with the popular ideals of a time in mind, and that consumers prefer these products over non-standard abiding alternatives. I found this observation intriguing since I never considered the two ideas in proximity to each other. However, I did notice that there was a particular market of production that this idea failed to consider: the automobile industry. There are various factors designers take into consideration when designing new cars, such as compliance with safety regulations, functionality, and popularity. To attract new customers, a car must be popular enough to encourage its consumption, and visual cues such as a vehicle's design inspire such. Considering this, I decided to argue that the motivators behind such visuals are beauty standards, and I explored such using the research question through a mixed method explorative analysis. Is there an association between car design and societal beauty standards, where the beauty standards of a time affect the creation and aesthetics of an automobile? And do standard abiding designs have a greater societal appeal compared to non-standard abiding vehicles? This question felt important to me, and that it questions the motivations behind society and asks just how strongly they rule our decision making. And to explore this very idea, I decided to run a survey that evaluated certain individuals and car models by their visual appeal to determine whether or not there is an association between car preferences and the influence of beauty standards. The survey asked participants to select 10 models out of 40 who they thought to be the most attractive, but unbeknownst to them, I secretly defined 10 out of this group to be standard abiding in the sense that they somehow embody what society deems attractive today. The standards of today expect one to be visually abstract or shocking, and this may look like non-typical eye color, high cheekbones, or even unexpected builds such as height or curviness. So, a person who looks like this in the survey was a person who is defined as standard abiding. I did the same for 10 cars out of the 40 in the second survey section by labeling the visually abstract ones as standard abiding. And I later found that the percent of the time someone prefers standard abiding individuals is almost equal to the percent of the time they prefer a car whose visuals embody a similar appeal. I constructed two histograms that displayed the average preferences for the two groups and found that the average difference in opinion one has about standard abiding cars and people was 1.8%. I hypothesized that a difference in opinion less than 10% is suggestive of an association between preference for car design and beauty standards. And since 1.8 was less than this value, I found my hypothesis to be true, and considering this value and testing its significance through confidence interval testing to prove that my results weren't a fluke. I developed a 90% confidence interval with an alpha of 0.1, using my survey data to find that my results were statistically significant. So, moving forward with this understanding, I determined that there is, in fact, an association between car design and beauty standards, and that the motivator behind the appreciation of certain cars is standard-aligned expectations. In finding that there is an association between my two variables, I was able to answer my research question and conclude that car design does take aesthetic expectations into account, and that these designs are subsequently appreciated at a greater level. These findings may apply to creatives of a kind who want to engage their audience with their work but are unsure of how. They may observe the correlation between successful design and appeal to standards, applying such in their designs moving forward, and generating the engagement from their target demographic that they may seek. These findings may also appeal to consumers who want to have a more nuanced understanding of their preferences, motivators, and whether or not their judgments require a tonal shift for the betterment of their environment. By means of reflection on such, society may find healthier motivators to inspire their perceptions and subsequently hold more space for diversity, alternative expression, flexibility in thought, and acceptance. Overall, this research shows that beauty standards play a key role in designing and appreciating certain cars, and that they expose a secret motivator behind social interactions. It is an invisible influence that may plague other areas of the consumer market, such as fashion, cosmetics, or even interior design. However, these are ideas for future researchers to consider. What we know now is that automobiles are directly impacted by this discussion, and that we are more imbibed by the standard than one would initially assume. Thank you for listening, and ask yourself this: why do you drive your car, and could beauty standards, perhaps, be the true driver behind the wheel? Thank you.